I went to talk about trending topics with this one guy, and what the topic was racism towards white people nowadays and how it's okay. And we were talking about that, and he told me a story.
I'm big on this, so I want to hear it.
Yeah, the story was he was. I talked to this about 2 different people, but this is a Hispanic guy. He was at some party or something, and some random person came up to him and told him, "I'm sorry, I'm white." And he was like, "What the fuck? What do you mean I'm sorry?" He said he started laughing in his face, like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, everybody told me that I'm bad because I'm white. And he's like, "Bro, that shit's fake." He's like,
white people do that though. I've experienced that myself.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've never experienced
When you said that to me right now, I was like, yo, I literally experienced that before.
They just came up to you and apologized for me. Why would you?
If it's like, it depends on the setting. Mine was like a party, drinking, and they're just being stupid and funny.
Oh,
yeah.
This was serious.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
He was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that is wild. Yeah.
He's like, "You were born that way, bro. Why are you apologizing for that?"
I think it's because the reverse racism now. I had this conversation with my sister about how. Wait, I have a question. What are the triangles for?
Those were. I had a guy in here, and those were where I had the cameras.
Smart.
So I kind of know where to put them.
Yeah, I put a little X under mine on the floor, so if I move things around, I know that's the placement. Exactly. But anyways, long story short, about the reverse racism. I was telling my sister this, and I'm Hispanic, Puerto Rican. I guess that's not Hispanic, it's Latin, I guess. But anyways, long story short, I look white though. So every time I go back, and I've been out here for years, so now when I go back home to New York, I feel like I get taxed. This is what I say. I get a tax when I go into the bodega now. Like normally what it would be like $1, I feel like they'll charge me $1.50 because I look white.
Yeah.
Even out here, I feel like predominantly with the black culture out here, because like where I grew up, I tell people this all the time. In New York, black and Puerto Ricans, like we're like peas in a pod, same thing.
Yeah.
So that's all I've known my whole life.
Yeah.
And then when I came out here, it's not like that. It's really segregated out here in a way where like the Hispanics stick with the Hispanics, the blacks stick with the blacks, and the whites stick with the whites. So for me coming out here, it was just such a huge culture shock. Because like for me, I'm automatically going to gravitate towards the black culture and black community because that's all I've known my whole life. But then from them out here, I feel like I get this look from them like, because they even feel some way towards the Hispanics out here, which I get because I've noticed in my experience out here, the Hispanics, they say the N-word crazy out here, like ridiculous, like too much. It's not necessary. Yeah. So like I can understand maybe like, nah, y'all take it a little too far. Maybe that's why there might be that little friction. But yeah, I feel it out here. I feel like I don't get the love that I'm so used to getting from the black community and culture growing up in New York. So I've just been in a huge culture shock out here for mad years.
Yeah. Because they say, because I had this discussion with someone else, and the argument is, which is a stupid argument, but you can't be racist to someone who is the majority or who has been in position of power. So you can't be racist to them. But that defeats the word of racism.
No, and they are racist to them. I don't even care if I get backlash for this. Yeah. Like this is what I was telling my sister when I got off topic. Treating someone a certain way because you were treated like that, it's almost like, there's a word for that. What's it fucking? That's why I gotta stop smoking weed. Tit for tat, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna make the world any better. Like you're just doing what they did to you, and you didn't like how that felt. You know what I mean? Like you don't like being called a certain thing or being treated a certain way. So almost, why would you go back and do it to someone else when you know how that feels? You know?
Well, it wasn't like that when I was growing up.
Out here, right?
I grew up in the South, but we didn't hate white people.
Yeah,
that's something new. That's a new thing.
Nah, I don't know.
I mean, we might have.
Maybe for y'all, for me growing up, we would always make like, oh, that's just white people shit. I'm guilty of it too. Like I can't even say that. I'm guilty of putting the white people in that box too. Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase that. We weren't like now. For example, nowadays, if I go in public, this happened. I was with my daughter in the candy store during COVID, and there was this man with his elderly mother, and she had her mask pulled down like this. And the clerk started saying, "Pull up your mask." You know how they wear real. And he said, "She's going to give her a second. She just had surgery. She's having a hard time breathing." And she started going off, "Pull up the mask, this and that. We don't give a shit, da, da, da." And it was like, "I said she just had surgery." He told her like that. And she was like, "Oh, big white man, da, 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 pulling his white privilege, this and that." And I was like, oh shit. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, damn, I was racist as fuck. Someone's gonna say something. And he went and he looked, there was this white guy standing next to him, and he says, oh my God, did you hear that? And he goes, yeah, she's freaking right. Put your mask on. I was like, oh my God, what's going on with this world?
Or it could be another thing. Maybe the person who said that could have been intimidated or in fear, you know, to say some shit.
I saw the whole thing, but I was like, what the freak?
That is wild.
That is wild. But that wouldn't happen when I was growing up. You know
I told my aunt this because me and my family always have this conversation because like saying we always feel the same. Like we grew up around black people. My nephew's is half black. You know what I mean? So like black culture has just been my whole life. And I agree with you. I never had to think about these types of things until now in my life.